2, 1.
3, 2.
All right, 3, 2. We're gonna start. You guys ready? We're gonna start.
All right, we're live on 3, 1. Okay, I'm ready.
Jimmy would be a nightmare on a movie set. Jeez.
Hold on. Well, you're
Never-
the one that.
Yeah.
Cut!
As soon as
He would yell cut when he's not the director. Cut,
as soon
guys,
as I
cut.
start counting, Josue always ducks out of his chair.
This way goes and grabs like whatever's
I'm
on
like
the floor.
charger, phone. All right.
I'll be honest, I do the same thing sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're live. And we're live.
So, I mean, I know what we're.
No laughing.
Yeah.
I
serious
know
stuff.
what we're supposed to
That
feel, and we're supposed to feel like good about this game, right? Because hold on, let's bring in Sherrod.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sherrod's gonna be that ray of sunshine. He's gonna be
No.
that ray of sunshine.
Oh, that's
How
Sherrod.
can you not feel good about being
maybe
able
not.
to stay close against a good team, against the Bucks on the road, down 3 starters? But the end of that game just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and you want to friggin' tear your eyes out. And that's where emotionally I am right now. When you take a step back from it, you're gonna be like, dude, they just went. I mean, look at these 2 games. Go Toronto and Milwaukee, down friggin' 4 starters and down 3 starters against 2 of the top 5 teams in the East, and you took them down to the wire. So it's hard to not feel good about like, wow, full team, they should be able to do whatever.
Silver lining loss.
Just the ending sucked.
Yeah, I'm with you, John. You know what, John? That's fair. But you know what? I think when you look at, and maybe Celtics fans are not going to want to hear this, but maybe they will. When you look at the role players, guys that you're going to need to step up, I mean, you had guys that did that. You know, maybe down the stretch, Derek White didn't make the best decisions. You know, maybe Daniel Tice could have executed better in that inbound play. Man, what a pass. That was spot on, perfect. Missed a bunny. You know, yes, you don't like to see that. Late fourth quarter execution didn't look great for the Celtics. The Bucks were able to put together a heck of a lot of stops, and that includes Jaylen Brown. You know, Jaylen Brown had a heck of a game. He was attacking, but you know, when it came to it, when the Bucks wanted to make their stops, they strung them together. So that's not good. You know, you don't want to see that. But when you think about some of these role players, they needed this experience. They did, and I think you can say that these guys are going to take plenty away from this game. But you're still wondering if the Celtics team can execute in the fourth quarter down the stretch without Rob Williams. I mean,
and I'm sorry,
it hasn't looked great in close games. It hasn't.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, again, I know people are going to react here. What do you want? Happy, joy. It's great. Like, yes, they went toe to toe with him. That's great. You just don't like to see one of your best players dribbling the ball off his foot with the game on the line, because he might have the ball. He might have the ball in his hands in a real game with the game on the line. Yeah. So don't do that. Like that. You don't like to see it. All you're doing now is you have no control over seeding. It's going to happen. You just want to see positive things. At the end, there just weren't positive things. Everything leading up to it was great, but then they just puked all over themselves, turned it over a ton late. And you know, it just got really sloppy with the ball. And it was players who will play in critical moments who were doing that late. It's not like Hauser and friggin' Neesmith are out there, dribbling ball off their knees. You know, it's Jaylen, it's White. It was just sloppy down the stretch there. It was just hard to watch. And it kind of tainted what was like a pretty awesome game from a Celtics perspective, because they had no business being in this. And they have a 5-point lead with 3-4 minutes to go. And Milwaukee, if I'm Milwaukee, I'd be like, guys, if we do this for real against these guys in the playoffs, we're done. You know, like
that was their last time out.
You're Milwaukee, you feel terrible right now, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Milwaukee, you're happy you won, but you're thinking like, but damn, this is if you're the Celtics,
this won't do it. Right.
One of the issues that the Celtics have had throughout the season, and we've talked about this before, is closing games out. Lately, they've been really good about it, but you know what? They really haven't had a lot of games that they had to execute down the stretch, because they're beating the snot out of teams over 3.5 quarters. This was a game where they were down the stretch. The guys that they would normally count on would be Jason and Jaylen. Jaylen obviously nowhere in sight today. It's on Jaylen, and he had one of the biggest gaffes of the night where he lost the ball. The other play that I thought doesn't get enough attention was Derek White had a mid-range jump shot wide the hell open, and it was a 10-foot jump shot that he shot 8. Little things like that really hurt
there was
them. And you got to play
White. Yeah, there's 3 of them.
That was the last one.
One
really pissed off John.
Well, yeah, but one just sloppy hands, careless ball, catches it top of the key, loses it, has to backtrack to half court to get it, and then jacks up a 3 late in the clock. That's annoying, but it was late anyways. Just bad. That was bad. The other one where he's just dribbling, not looking on the left side, and you got Pritchard and Smart jumping up and down, like
The
Pritchard
bench. The bench was too. Yeah.
wide open, and he missed them. And then obviously that one there, and they were killing him on the broadcast for like, shoot it in rhythm, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they were doing when they were knocking down shots. I mean, the ball was moving and it was getting in the hands of guys who were catching, shooting in rhythm, and they just got away from that down the stretch. And they looked like a team that didn't know what they needed to do to close this game out.
Which is frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. But consider the fact that their closer wasn't in this game. So, and not only that, but Al, who's a big part of the facilitating part of that offense, like. So yeah, you gotta take it with a little bit of a grain of salt there. I mean, and I think that's what John was kind of saying up the top.
Right. Of course. But if we do though, there's no show, which is
I know. We have to talk about it.
They played down 3 starters, so we'll accept any outcome and you move on. And of course, that's the real thing. Because
and there's something to be said about the Bucks. Listen, this happens. This says what's that?
You want to steal games when you can in this league. When you're in position,
that's
to
why
steal
Toronto
a game,
killed me too.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the team that they're going to be finishing the season out. Memphis. That's all they've been doing all season. I mean, how many times can a team be without their best player and win like freaking 90% of the games without their best player? That doesn't happen. Yet that's what they're doing it because they are close enough in a lot of games where they just find a way to steal it. They execute down the stretch. They make the plays at both ends of the floor, and they get it done. And the Celtics, to me, this game defined how good Jason Tatum is because down the stretch, you could clearly see where his absence was felt. They needed a closer, and Jalen just wasn't that guy.
And you know what?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that too. Oh, real quick, Jim. I didn't think about that. And on the offensive end, I was thinking about what this team looks like without Al Horford in the front court. Or both on the defensive end, rather. Like they're just not the same. It's just with him next to Tice, they're better. But without him, it's tough. Without Rob and Al, it's tough.
Yeah, it felt like Milwaukee had like 20 points in the paint in like the first 3 minutes.
Oh man, they were.
It was just
you could see. Inside.
Yeah, I would too. If no Rob, no Al, shit, I'm going to the cup every possession.
Well, you can see how
nobody's gonna stop me.
Right.
Yeah, you can see how Lopez and like the bigs down there. That's the effect that is gonna that's the effect you're gonna see in the first round of these playoffs. So that's why when you talk about matchups, you want to end up playing against a team that doesn't have like just a big, 7 foot sort of. I'm not gonna say that Lopez is dominant, but he plays that style of just sort of like a bruiser down low. Yeah, absolutely. And at some point, like size down there matters for sure. So I want to say this though. I got to give the Celtics credit because on top of everything, playing without some of their stars, second night of a back-to-back on the road. So I'm going to give them credit for that. This is a game that they showed up for. The guys that got time, I thought played hard. I thought, Jalen leading up to that costly turnover at the end there, I thought he had a gutsy performance. I thought, White hit some big shots tonight. That nice pull-up 3 in the fourth there. He had another one. Brown's block on Giannis was really, that was a classic athletic Brown play. Pritchard had some big shots at some point, and even Hauser got in the mix early on. I mean, guys did everything they could tonight, and you're playing against a team that a lot of people think is the most complete team in the Eastern Conference for a lot of reasons. So I give them credit, and it sucks that the execution was the problem down the stretch. I know the commenters had a problem with calling that timeout off the missed free throw, and maybe the Celtics could have gotten something off the break there and got a quick 2. But that's just lack of, I guess, I don't want to say communication, but I mean, I guess just maybe that's a awareness issue where, hey, it's a missed free throw, and typically you'd call a timeout there, but when it's John, I can't hear you. When it's a loose ball, see what you got. I don't know if John, if you muted or if I just can't hear you.
Yeah, you can't hear him at all.
You can't hear him. Can't hear you.
The best point you've made all show, by the way, John. The one that we can't hear.
You couldn't help yourself, could you, Jimmy?
No, I couldn't. But that's those are my takeaways from this game, though. I mean, I'm not going to get all bent out of shape over the loss. I know that it is an important one because these are here we come down. There's one game left now for the Celtics on Sunday against Memphis, and it's it's almost a must win. I mean, I don't know. It really depends on
it. See, I don't think it's a
I don't
must
know if
win.
it's a must win, but Sherrod, hear me out. I mean, if Toronto is still a team that you are still in line to play, and you don't know if you're going to be fully rostered for that game, then I feel like it's a must win in that sense. But you're right. I mean, I guess I don't know enough to make that statement, but you want to go into the playoffs on a good note. You don't want to lose a couple games and play poorly. So I think and they didn't play poorly tonight, but you want to show out on Sunday and put a good effort in. I think Memphis is gonna. I think Memphis will put a good effort in as well.
Well, see, here's the thing, Jimmy. Here's the thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. The thing that I think we all agree on was this was a good effort by the Celtics tonight.
Totally.
Yep.
And I think that'll be the case against Memphis. And to me, Jimmy, that's two things you want to go into the playoffs doing. You want to go into the playoffs healthy, and you go into the playoffs playing your style of basketball. And I think win or lose tonight, they played the way they wanted to play. It's just that they did not have their core guys. So my biggest concern at this point is health. Because the way they're playing, the way they played the last couple of weeks, they are ready for the playoffs. I have no doubts about that. But are they going to be healthy enough? Jason Tatum getting tonight off was huge. I think Jaylen Brown should frankly, I don't think he should play in the final game. I wouldn't mind giving Grant Williams a night off as well.
Well, what if Toronto's in play, Sherrod? What if Toronto's in play?
Tonight.
You know what?
What's that?
Control. It's coach peak, but control what you can control. You can't
control that. By playing your guys and trying to win that game.
Does that mean you're going to win? I mean,
no, it's not
me. Just played their guys, and they barely won.
You got to put yourself in a position to succeed, though. At the same time, and I'm saying this: if you're
run
the
the risk of guys getting hurt,
or run the risk of playing a Toronto Raptors team that just beat the Sixers tonight and would probably beat the Celtics if Jaylen Brown and Al Horford aren't on the roster for 3 of those 4 games. So that's the risk you take. So. They know. I mean, listen. They know. We don't know. We're guessing. I guess we're stipulating here. But if that's truly the case, where there's a chance where if you lose, there's a chance where you end up in Toronto or you play Toronto for Series 1. If you're the Celtics, if Jaylen Brown and Al Horford are going to be in that game, and if you know they're not going to be in that game, you should be doing everything you can to win on Sunday. You don't want to play.
I can't. If I'm Ime, I can't worry about. Oh my God, I might not have all my guys for Toronto. I need to make sure my guys are healthy enough to play whoever the hell is on the other side. That has to be the focus. You can't worry about that other stuff. If that's Jimmy.
You should worry about that.
There's nothing you can do. Jimmy, can you control that at this point?
What's the difference, Sherrod? You're either going to have them healthy or they're going to miss 3 games in Toronto. You might as well not be healthy anyways.
If my team isn't healthy, it doesn't matter whether I got everyone. I'm still not going to win. At least if I'm shorthanded,
they are healthy.
I still have a chance to win. I still have a chance to win if I'm not without those guys.
What's the difference?
Let's talk about
whether they're healthy,
that's true.
Whether they're unhealthy
and plus,
not
Jimmy,
allowed to play.
Hold on. Yeah, there's a difference, Jimmy. There's a difference between guys not being able to play in Canada and guys being not available the entire series because they got hurt against the Memphis Grizzlies. I see what you're
okay. Well, why'd they play tonight then? I mean, you could say the same thing. Why'd they play anytime in the last couple of weeks?
You're thinking about unvaccinated guys, like they're not going to be able to play the entire series. I mean, it does make a difference, but I would prefer if Al Horford didn't get hurt before the playoffs. If Grant Williams didn't get hurt before the playoffs. It's a fragile front court right now.
I know, but there's the difference here.
Playing the games, though. I mean,
the difference here is if they're not vaccinated, it's a certainty they're not playing. And if Al Horford does the thing that he's done for 35 years of his life for one more day, it's still not likely he's going to get hurt.
Right.
So
let's weigh the odds.
Things aren't really comparable.
Well, I mean,
anything is possible, but
Al
just wrap every player up in bubble wrap and don't play the last week. Don't even play tonight or don't play.
Jalen's finger almost came off tonight. Yeah. Hold on. Let's talk about where this puts us. Let's talk about where this puts us. Okay. So now,
table.
Wow. Siakam had a 37-point triple-double.
Yeah. Okay. So Philly loses here in Toronto. Philly, if the Celtics win, they can't finish worse than 3rd. They're going to win that tie break over Philly. They have to lose, and Philly has to win out for Philly to jump them right now. So the Celtics still control at least that portion of their destiny. If Toronto is something you still want to avoid, who knows? You lose to Memphis, Philly wins out, they're going to drop to 4. And that's just where there will be. 2 is in play, but it's complicated because the tiebreakers with Milwaukee go down to division record, and you don't know what's going to happen over the next couple of games. But the 2 is still technically in play because the Bucks could also lose 2. But right now they feel like nestled into that 3. So if that's where they want to be, and that'll end up with Chicago, which we all agree is a pretty good first round matchup, that's where they're going to end up. But that means Bucks most likely in round 2. And that's what you have it. You can't really control it. You're going to have to beat these teams to get to the finals anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. You're hoping you play that Bucks team with Rob back, but I mean, based on what we saw tonight, again, even if you only have Tatum and Horford back, you still have to feel pretty good about your chances.
Yeah, I agree with
that. That's the big takeaway.
You're starting to look like you're the 3 and the Bucks are the 2. And I feel pretty good about this team going 3-6 against Chicago from what we saw the other night. You just got a taste of it the last 2 games. And I feel pretty good about 3-2 against Milwaukee, even though they are, in my opinion, the class of the East. I don't know. You can't not feel good about it after tonight.
And to me, the crazy part is that even though we give the Celtics credit for playing a good game tonight, it didn't feel like this group played a great game, and yet they were there. Without 2 of your top players,
the threes
they were
fell
right there.
Yeah, that was the big part of this.
The big part of it is the threes fell. Back to those
they were
second
timely.
nights of the back. They
didn't have much of a choice, but they didn't have much of a choice but to launch them threes because it's on a back-to-back. You don't have any inside presence.
Yeah,
what the hell are you going to
that's
do?
true.
You have no choice but to just become team shot chuck, which is what they did.
And they went in.
And I'm okay with that. And it went in.
Sam Hauser looked pretty damn good doing it, though, right, Sherrod?
I tell you what, Sam Hauser, listen.
Sam Hauser looked more comfortable in offense than Aaron Nesmith has ever looked in his entire NBA career. I'm not being sarcastic either. I'm not exaggerating like that.
I didn't want to bring up Sam and bring up Nesmith in the same sentence, even though it's hard to bring up Sam and not think about Aaron Nesmith.
I got you, Sherrod. I got you.
I appreciate you, though.
I did it for you.
Sam was good. Sam did exactly what he's paid to do. You get your ass out there, you play solid defense, you knock down shots. That's your job. That is your job. And he did it.
Yeah.
Can you guys see Jimmy, or is he just a black cube right now?
No, it's
we
3 of us
never
now.
we never see Jimmy. We just assume he's around.
He just went away.
Oh, right now he's back.
Look at that.
Can you see him?
I see him.
We can't hear him, which is the best commentary he's had all night.
Damn, you couldn't hear me. I muted myself too. I said I'm right here, bitches.
Yeah,
I'll repeat
I'm a little
myself.
glitchy right now.
You're glitchy, John?
Oh, is that what you said? Thanks.
John's out in left field. I'm back though. See you, John. What did I just miss?
Is Jimmy talking?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm talking.
I can neither see.
Oh, you can't hear him, but we.
I'll get out and come back in. Tell John I'll get no.
Because
Jimmy
on my
Jimmy
end,
and John are having a
you two staring at me.
What if
Jimmy, get your Hauser take ready? All right.
What if I jump out? Okay, he jumped out.
Oh, he's jumping out.
Jimmy and John are clearly having some disconnect issues here.
So people are saying Jimmy's a pixel, Jimmy's this, Jimmy's that. I don't know what to believe, but
facts, my dog.
Facts, my dog. People in the comments are some people are saying.
Don't read the comments out loud. Read them in your head.
I don't know what I just missed, but people in the comments are saying I'm right. People in the comments are saying I'm wrong for my Toronto take. Sherrod and Josue. I know Sherrod, you're against me completely. Josue, what's your take again? You think that the Celtics should bench everybody on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, not everybody, but something similar to what we saw tonight. Maybe the opposite, something like that. I think it's just important. I mean, look, this isn't the deepest team, regardless of what we saw from the second unit today. And I just think Ime knows that, So especially protecting guys in the front court, you're not going to have Rob the entire first round. So, yeah, I think it's important.
So let me ask you this. Do you think this is good optics? And I don't know if this is true, but let's just assume that some of the reports say that Jaylen Brown isn't vaccinated. So you think it's cool that he sits on Sunday, the Celtics lose, and then end up playing the Raptors in the first round, where Jaylen Brown therefore can't play in that series? You think that's a good look for Jaylen and the team and all? Because I don't. I think that would be pretty tough.
It's not a good look, but that's what Jaylen signed up for. If that's what's going to happen, you know what I mean? He's had an opportunity to go out there and get that. I like the tweet that Zannis put out. I think it was yesterday, or the day before. It was like, today would be a great day to go get the J&J shot. Lining up for that potential series. You're gonna want to get that, today or tomorrow, but very, very soon. And he's right. And look, Jaylen knows that. Jalen knows the ridicule that he's in line for. If that does happen, he's really rolling the dice here. So that's all.
I'm going to tell you the nightmare scenario right now.
Of course you are.
They dodged Toronto in round 1. Okay.
Toronto gets to the second round.
No, to the conference
I was thinking that
finals. To the conference finals, and they're not ready for it. Because they're not counting on it. They knock out the Bulls, they knock out the Bucks, and Toronto upset, and they're waiting to the conference finals, and they're like, oh shit. Oh
and
no.
Boston loses its freaking mind. Oh man.
That would be John. John, that's your dream. John, that's John's dream scenario. He says it's a nightmare. Man. It's actually a dream scenario.
It's not. It's not. I root for stories, sure. But like
that would be a story and a half, man.
That would be the end of the franchise.
That's M. Night Shyamalan twist right there.
That's the end of the franchise.
Die hard. Split up the Jays. I don't care.
John,
split them up. That's it.
John, so are you leaning on my side, or are you leaning on Sherrod and Josue's side?
Which one?
When it comes to
about resting,
like preparing, like how you handle Sunday. Basically.
I think they are not at all concerned with wins and losses or who they play. I think they don't care. So they're gonna do whatever they think is best. If they think
that's how they've acted.
If they think they need to get into rhythm for a game and play, I could see Memphis being first half starters, play it like you would, and then sit and it's friggin' Sam Hauser land in the second half. I could easily see that. Treat it like a preseason game. Wouldn't shock me.
Something like that.
And because they talked about, Ime said it a few days ago. Not only is he looking for breaks, but he's looking for like breaks, within breaks. So like maybe a guy sits a game, but maybe also he plays like 15, 20 minutes in a game. So if I had to guess it, I think that's how they'll play Memphis. They'll come out, they'll play the first half, and then they'll just kind of let it go in the second. Let the other people play, and they'll sit it out and just cruise, and that's that. So you're going to accept whatever result you get off of a game like that, if that's how they play it. I don't think they're going tooth and nail, fighting down to the wire and playing in a hard game. I just don't think they care enough to do that. Yeah, I think everyone's in self-preservation mode, and you're right. You don't know if someone's going to get it, but you're talking about freak, goofy stuff. You jump for a rebound, you land on a guy's foot, you roll your ankle, you're out 4 weeks. Like that stuff happens. So you want to get out clean for sure. So I bet you they play a little, but not hard. And I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis kind of goes the same way. Like, let's throw our guys out there for a bit, and call it a day. I think that's the best approach because you can't game it. You can't game it. And it's a careful what you wish for scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
You game it to end up in one thing, and it ends up being the wrong thing. So you have no way of knowing what the right path is. At this point, I think they've played well enough to have confidence in themselves to play anybody. And I think they're fine with it. I think if it was an obvious, there are some times where there's an obvious choice. I don't think it's that obvious here what the optimal seating spot is. So they're just gonna whatever happens.
Sixers play at 7:00 on Sunday as well. It's just kind of funny how it all because the Bucks play at 3:30, so you'll already know where they shake out. But by the time you take the court, but everyone's gonna be scoreboard watching on Sunday night like the whole time. It's gonna be interesting for sure. They might make all these guys active and only put them in if they think they need to.
Yeah, because I don't know what they want. Like, I mean, I guess the other question is, forget what we want. What do you think they want? And like, that's kind of what I was answering is I think they don't care. But do you guys think they want an outcome? There's an outcome that they favor?
No, I don't think so. They right now, the way they're playing, they're so confident that they don't give a damn who's on the other side. They feel they can beat them, and they can beat them badly. And the reason they feel that way is because they've been doing that. I mean, a lot. Yeah. So their confidence is not going to be an issue with them. Again, that's why I keep, hammering this home. They need to be healthy. That's literally the only major concern that they have at this point is health. They don't care who they're playing. They don't care about rhythm. They're in a rhythm right now. In fact, defensively and offensively, they're in a great rhythm because the defense has been great for the longest time. That offense is starting to come around too when you look at the shot making. That's one of the big takeaways from this game, the fact that they made so many damn shots. They're not going to be jacking it up like that going forward, but at least they know it's in them. They can have nights like that against really good teams like Milwaukee. So
sorry, go ahead, Sherrod, finish.
You got it.
I was just going to say, I got the scenarios in front of me. If we want to run through them real quick, I was just going to let you guys know. Basically, the way it goes now, if the Celtics win, if the Bucks go 2-0 and the Celtics win, Bucks 2, Celtics 3. So they lose that. Milwaukee now controls their own destiny for that 2 seed if they want it, if they go 2-0. Bucks 2-0, Celtics lose, and Sixers win out, Celtics fall to 4. Okay? Celtics will also stay at the 3.
So Sixers have to win out. Okay.
Celtics will also stay at the 3 if the Sixers lose one of their 2 games, no matter what happens. So basically, Philly has to be perfect, and the Celtics have to lose for them to fall out of the 3 at least.
Does it matter what the Bucks do or no?
For the 2, they need the Bucks to split and them to win.
And the Sixers have a back-to-back this weekend too, so that's key because all the other teams have already done their back-to-back. If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah,
they're Saturday, Sunday.
If the Sixers split, the Celtics stay in the 3 spot.
No matter what, so if Philly does not finish the season perfect,
they have to win both.
Celtics are at least the 3. Celtics can be the 2 with a win and a Bucks split over the last 2.
Okay.
So again, and because those games are played Friday and Saturday, you're going to know Philly may have already lost, so you know you're locked into the 3 at least, and the Bucks will have played, and you'll know whether or not you've got a shot. Or you won't, but
Philly's playing the Sixers. Philly is playing the Pacers and the Pistons. 2 teams that they should beat. 2
if
teams
they
that
want
have
to,
absolutely nothing to play.
But you don't know when they go into rest mode because again,
you don't. But Embiid's still trying to play with this MVP and all this stuff.
But the Bucks have a back-to-back tomorrow, and the Sixers have it Saturday, Sunday. So you wonder, what they're going to do. Philly might, it's so. They have to decide whether they want to go kind of balls out for this too. So, the schedule is weird in that way because they have, everyone's got a back-to-back somewhere where you think they're going to rest people. The Celtics, it was tonight. For the Bucks, it's tomorrow. And for Philly, it's Sunday.
Well, Philly, we know that Thibault couldn't go to Toronto to play. So they would, if they stay in the 4 seed, they would be locked in with the Raptors. Yeah. So I wonder if that's going to play into their ideas of not wanting to go. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing things out there.
Yeah. So that's where you're at. So you got a shot at the 2. The 3 seems all the scenarios, it's the most likely unless you lose, Philly wins out, which is possible. It depends.
Yeah,
how
I
you
think
play
that's
game.
Very possible to be honest.
Yeah, it depends how you play that game on Sunday.
Yeah, right. And that goes back to our debate. Like, how do they want to play that game? Which, I mean, we'll find out. I mean, it's stupid to just go back and forth over and over, but I guess we'll find out. Like, if they suit everybody up, then I'll take a victory lap. If they bench everybody, then I want an apology cam for Sherrod and Josue. Simple as that.
Let's do it. Group.
Come on. Really?
Yeah. Sorry. You guys have to answer.
Or I think I read that backwards, but you guys get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
One of us is on apology cam on Sunday after the game for sure.
One of us.
One of us. Except John, because he weasels his way out of apology cam all the time.
I only did it because you tried all year. First of all, you tried all year long to pin Kemba on me. All year long. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why I hold out longer.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Dude had like 2 back-to-back good games, and you were like, "Apology, Cam, John." and then the following night, he had like 7 points. John's like, "This is why you have to wait for like."
And and you know what? I made the mistake. There's video footage of me apologizing.
You jumped in early.
John, don't forget, I was on your side, and then I was like, "Kemba's back." I was wrong, apology, Cam. And then 2 weeks later, it was like, "Here we go."
Did you end up doing it?
Yeah, Jimmy did, and it was premature. But Jimmy apologized.
I wasn't as hardcore.
Simply because he thought Kemba would take about 20 games to get right, and he came out and he looked okay.
Yeah.
So that was his.
I didn't know if we were ever gonna. Yeah, exactly. That was mine.
It was a slightly different take. Mine
was a long-term take.
Mine was
you were like, I'll apologize in 5 years.
He's cooked, and you should have gotten out of that deal. Sell. You want nothing to do with this guy on your roster. That
trade him for Al Horford.
Trade him for cents on the dollar. That was my take.
Looking back, it's amazing that they were able to make that trade.
It's amazing. What's also amazing is I know I was kind of waiting for Bobby to join to talk about it, but like most important trade of the year might be at this point might have been friggin' Schroeder for Tyson. Who saw that coming, right?
Yeah, that's a wild one for sure.
That's actually
they did my guy
second best move.
They did my guy Schroeder dirty, but
they did.
For
but
the
you
greater
need that.
good. For the greater good.
I'm at a sensory disadvantage.
For the greater good.
Yeah.
We lost Sherrod, man. What the hell happened?
Yeah. I lost
but John,
okay.
Bobby Manning is
John, if we got into the DeLorean and went back a year from now and was like, this is what I think should happen, guys. They should just trade for Al. Kemba, sorry, it is what it is. Move forward. I don't know if you would have been excited about that. You probably would have said no. Like, you probably would have said that there's no way OKC does that.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or John would have been at that point where, like, I don't care. Just do it for anybody. Just get something for him. But yeah, I mean, that was Brad's first move.
Yeah. What did happen to Sherrod? Wi-Fi issues. Sherrod and Bobby are both in Milwaukee, so we'll hopefully get those guys back in a little bit. And again, we know the scenarios now at this point, so we've kind of exhausted this. I don't really know where else to go out of this because, again, it's just I don't think they care anymore. I'll ask you this. The vaccine question kind of lingers in the air, and we still don't really know. A lot of the reporting suggested that it might have been an issue. We don't know if it's been cleared up since. So again, it's hard to talk about it without knowing things, but knowing that they kind of sat a bunch of guys tonight and a loss plus Philly wins could have put them into a position where they'd be at the 4 seed. It feels like they don't fear Toronto in round 1, which, might lead you to believe. I don't know if it leads you guys to believe that I
don't know.
Those issues won't be issues.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because don't you figure they'd be trying hard as hell to not fall into that 4 spot if they were worried about it?
That's what.
Well, I don't think they think. I think the way when you say it that way, I think the way looking at it is if they're if players are unable to go to Canada, that they could still win the series, and maybe that could be true depending on who we're talking about, or maybe even if it is a featured player. But at the same time, it's just not a good look, and honestly, it's a bit of a distraction at the end of the season, going into the playoffs. Like, it's like the last thing you want for this team, where everything has just been like positive altogether, pretty much since the calendar year.
And for those of the people listening or in the comments, like bitching at us about talking about it, this is a report in the Boston Globe stating that 2 starting players in the Celtics are unvaccinated. Is that correct, John?
Yeah, and we know which ones
are.
Gary.
Yeah, and we're not making this up, or like we're not like just throwing this out there just to like talk about something. Like, this is something that's been reported. We're not reporting it. We're talking about it. That's what we do here on this show. We talk about things from the game. We talk about reports. And so if you guys don't like it, then go somewhere else. But this is a conversation right now because it's important to the game. And it's nothing to do with like real life, whether you want to be vaccinated or not. This affects the Boston Celtics.
Right.
If they have to go to Toronto without 2 of their starters, which are pretty much thought to be Jaylen Brown and Al Horford, then that could be
process of elimination.
Right.
It's Brown and Horford. Tatum's publicly declared he's vaccinated, and the rest of the team played in Toronto last week. So that's all that's left. They're the only 2 guys. So that's it. Yeah. And they didn't play. Tatum didn't, but he's publicly declared it. So whatever. We don't know because they could have cleared it up. The reason I tweeted that thing on April 6th, because the earliest they can play a game in Toronto would have been April 20th, which means that's 14 days out from a single dose.
2 weeks.
Yeah. And you could do that. So that's why I was kind of like, today's the day, guys, but we don't know. Let me ask you this. That thing aside, because we can't talk, we don't know. We won't know up until it happens or doesn't happen. And we may never know. But do you think there's any world in which everyone's talking about seeding, like positioning again to play this, to play that? What's the ideal slot? The one thing for certain, if you punt on the 2, you're giving away home court in round 2. Is there any way you look back on this game and think, if they just started the starters and won this friggin' one, you haven't, because if you end up 2-3 versus the Bucks, but game 7's in Milwaukee, you're gonna look back at this game and be like, God, I should have started everyone. Like, it is a little cavalier to be with it at this point. I understand health is the issue, but might we look, remember like Belichick in Miami and he rests everybody and they lose home field and everyone's like, what is he doing? I wonder if people will react that way, because I think people don't care deeply about it. But if you're gonna face the Bucks, maybe you'd want home court.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that's a good point, John. But I also think that Ime was going into this one thinking that they could steal one, and how much of a win that would resonate in the locker room compared to one that you win when everyone's available, right? I think he was looking at reaping the benefits of stealing one against this team, a healthy Bucks team going up against guys missing the key players, and everyone pulling together, and him going to the locker room and saying, look, that's the mindset to have. No matter who's out there, as long as we stick with the game plan, we can beat anybody. So it would have really helped. And maybe that's exactly what he's saying in the locker room now. Mine's a few things down the stretch. We almost stole one, guys. And maybe this is something that, again, other guys will take a lot from, like guys like Tice, guys like, Peyton Pritchard, guys like Derek White, who made some not so great decisions down the stretch. I think for those guys, this is more beneficial than it would have been if you go full strength and you beat the Bucks tonight. I mean, if you're Ime, you have to look at it that way. You have to try to get the absolute most from guys going into a first round matchup than as much as possible. Like, again, this isn't a deep team, and we know that. He keeps that tight rotation.
Again, I'm just throwing it out there because
I
that comment is stupid. Like, people do care. Like, if two of those, like, that's just a stupid comment. No offense, Zach.
No one cares.
Watching.
I mean, Canada cares. The whole country cares.
Like, you will trust me. You will care. If it happens, you will care. Like, you know what I mean. So that's all. Like, whatever. We have to talk about all the options here, all the possibilities. Yeah. Simple as that.
It's what's in front of that. It's what's in front of that. Well, the same guy with the next comment thinks Miami are sleepers, the 1 seed.
Yeah, look out for those guys. No one's talking about them.
Watch out for that pesky 1 seed.
Yeah, they'll sneak up on you. They'll sneak up on you in the conference finals if you play them.
No one's talking about that pesky 1 seed.
Jesus.
Who's the best? Forget the Celtics. Remove the Celtics from the equation. Who's the best team in the East outside of Boston? Outside of a full Boston squad? Is it Miami? We keep going around and around. Everyone defaults to Milwaukee. They're the champs. They have Giannis.
I said this yesterday?
Is it actually Miami?
I mean, you can make that argument, but it depends which team shows up. I mean, you don't know. Right now they're looking great, but you're not quite sure what team's always going to show up. I mean, Milwaukee, I feel Miami, like the defense. I don't know. It's tough. Their rotation's also changed. I mean,
you can flip a coin. It's Miami or Milwaukee.
Duncan Robinson, it's not even in the mix anymore. But then you have Struss in there. He's fine stride right now too. But
I've gone all over the place. Originally, like when the Sixers traded for Harden, I was like, they might be the team to beat now. But I just don't think they're a complete enough team. And like Spo, to me, is just always, this isn't a breaking news here, but Spo always has his guys ready to go in the playoffs. Yeah. So it's hard to bet. It's hard to get a bet against the Heat because they take it up a notch. I mean, they took care of the Celtics 2 years ago, and everyone thought the Celtics were going to cruise past them. A lot of that was because of coaching. A lot of that was because Jimmy Butler did his thing, and Rob couldn't handle Bam, and Hero like kind of came out of nowhere and was like a star rookie there. Now he's getting hot again. He just dropped a career high, I think 35 a couple of games ago or a couple of days ago. And they're rounding into form. They had their drama. We talked about it on the show. They had their infighting there on the court between Spo and Butler and Haslam. And we had a couple of laughs at that, but that's nothing that's going to derail a team, right? I mean, they're going to, they're a veteran team. They know what's at stake, and they're going to be hard. They're going to be a very, very hard out. So I think if, gun to head, I'm probably going to take the Heat as the team to beat. But if the Celtics can get Rob back, get out of the first round, can get Rob back, I've said this for a few weeks now, they can go toe-to-toe with any team. I'm not saying that they're the favorite, but there's no reason to bet against the Celtics if they're healthy.
With Rob pre-injury, they were the favorite. They were.
Literally they were, but it wasn't like a
easily.
It was
not a shoe-in because they're all really good teams, right. But like, I mean, as it just kept going on, the longer it went on, the way it was going on, you went from like, wow, they could make noise. They could get to they might be a tough out. They could get to the conference finals. Holy crap, they could win.
And I'm not even a Butler fan. I actually think he's kind of a fraud, but they play good team basketball. Like they do,
but I'm saying the Celtics pre-Rob were the favorites, I think, very clearly.
They were, but
Rob, yeah.
But I think the Heat did it for a longer stretch. of the season. The Celtics were the hot team coming down the stretch, coming around the turn, really getting, like if you want to compare it to a horse race, like that was the Celtics, and they just had taken the lead, and then they tripped and fell.
The Heat were without Butler for stretches, without Bam.
Without Bam for like 6 weeks.
Lopez. So they missed key guys too.
These teams have done it without their stars for stretches. Yeah,
Celtics was the inverse of last year. They had incredible injury luck after the beginning of the year when things were a little off and they didn't have their starting five all together at the same time because of various reasons. But from the second half of the year on, they were just rock solid up until Rob's injury. I mean, that was an incredible stretch, and the teams they were playing were banged up. But you're right. Miami went through it. Milwaukee's gone stretches. I mean, they didn't have Lopez for a long period of time. Philly, obviously with Simmons, and then Harden joined and they were without him. I mean, the freaking Nets lost. Durant goes down, and the reason the Nets are where they are is Durant's knee injury. Durant doesn't injure his knee. They're the 5 seed or
they locked him.
They're right in the mix. They lost 10, 11, games there. They went in the toilet.
Kyrie not playing home games too. Yeah.
When he went down, so they could be much higher too. So a lot of teams dealt with a lot of stuff. Everyone's entering close to healthy. Cleveland's not that great. Bulls aren't that great, but the top contenders are healthy. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting, and I expect the Celtics to compete. So, I mean, it's a tough question, and I don't even know if did you guys pick a team? Did you pick the Heat?
I'll go Miami.
The Bucks? Okay.
I'll go Miami.
I'm back and forth. I go Milwaukee.
I go Milwaukee all around team. I'd say Miami.
I go Milwaukee because Giannis won. I love Holiday, just a big game player. And Giannis won me over last year in terms of like that singular force.
He was
that
unreal.
Can do it on his own.
Yeah, that's fair. All that's fair. Like you can't argue. You can't really argue one or the other. You just pick your team and you can defend it, but you can't say, "Oh, there's no way it's this team."
You feel good about the Celtics against them, though. You really do.
Yeah, and this is what I said yesterday. I was like, the Celtics have played the Bucks very well this season, very well. I mean, tonight, I mean, you can take whatever you want out of it. I mean, they win tonight with a full roster. So if I'm the Celtics and I'm up against the Bucks in whatever round, second round, whatever, I'm not laying down the sword. Like I know I can compete with this team. I know I can beat this team.
Right.
So we'll see. They got to get out of that first round, though. That's why I think Sunday is important. If you think Toronto's in play, because I don't listen. I mean, you're talking about 2 of the 5 starters here. Any team would suffer.
I mean, let's face it, though. Jimmy's thinking about Jalen. Just say you're thinking about Jalen. Like, if it's not Jalen, I don't think you're not as concerned. Or am I wrong?
Of course. What do you mean?
Okay,
yeah, like it's Jalen and Al.
This is about Jalen.
Yeah, you need those players to. I mean, Toronto's playing well, man. They just took down the Sixers tonight. Like they're playing good basketball,
I think we got to take Al at his word, right? He said that he's going to be ready to play anywhere, unless he's a liar. He's the one going to make himself look bad out there, look foolish. So maybe it's wrong. We don't know. But obviously Jalen's the one you're most concerned about.
He said, "I'm going to be able to be ready to play." It's like I said, it's barely English. Like. It's just barely a real sentence.
He won't just say if he has it or not. He's just like,
right.
I will be ready.
I am vaccinated and therefore eligible to play in Toronto.
Anywhere. Right.
Are you vaccinated? I will be able to be ready to play.
I'll think of something.
I like
that's what it sounds like. I'll think of something. I'll cross that bridge when we get there. It's like, no, you got to cross that now. Like.
You think I want to sit here and try to decipher coding? I don't. I wish I could just say it's either a problem or it's not. But these guys force us to try to deduce something out of this. So here we are.
When people answer,
I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I just don't know.
When people answer yes or no questions with anything other than yes or no, typically they're hiding something. That's just how it goes.
Uh-oh.
That's true.
Speaking of hiding something, he came out of the hiding, everybody.
What up, Bobby?
Wait, can we hear him?
You got me?
I got it.
Did he let himself in?
I got him quietly. Can you guys hear him?
Yeah,
Hold on. Gotta turn it up. There we go.
There we go.
All
Hey,
right.
Bobby.
Let's do this. Fun game. encouraging effort. Good seeding result overall here, it looks like. I wanted them to go for it here. Kind of bummed they sat Tatum. I don't think they really needed to do that, although who knows if he really needed it pain-wise, why not? But I wanted to see them go for the win here. They still did a relatively good job. I'm glad they played Jalen. He did a ton toward winning until late when they broke down as an offense. And fortunately, Philly loses. So you're looking at 3 right now. More likely than not. I feel like the most likely matchup we're going to see round 1 is Celtics Bulls. And you got to feel good about that. Still an outside chance.
Bobby's going to go.
Split it.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll say it after.
Yeah, still an outside chance the Bucks split it and the Celtics win that game. And Boston can still get 2 with the tiebreakers here, it looks like, although I'm kind of iffy on that. I saw someone tweet that. I'm not sure I buy it, just with the conference standings and everything. Whatever. Most likely matchup, Chicago-Boston. That's where you're at. I think you feel good about that. Going to Milwaukee round 2 is the tricky part, but at least you're going to breeze through a round 1, it feels like, if you play a Bulls team. So you got to like how everything fell into place tonight.
See, I don't think you're going to cruise. I think you'll win the series, but you're going to have to fight. I mean, DeMar DeRozan is a legit MVP candidate. Zach LaVine is a 20-25 point per game scorer. Vucevic is a very good player. You start looking at their team; they don't suck.
They've sucked lately, though.
Should the Celtics win the series? Yes, but I'm not gonna go so far as to think that they're just gonna be a cakewalk. I mean, to me, there's only one team that's in the playoff position right now that's a cakewalk, and that's Cleveland. That's the only team you can look at and say they should get smashed by any other team in the postseason.
Yeah, I think.
Bobby,
I agree with Sherrod.
You spent 48 hours in the Shy, and you out like that already.
Yeah, you won't go back. You won't go back to the Shy and say that. I know that, but I agree with Sherrod. Like DeRozan,
I talked to a lot of angry fans yesterday.
DeRozan has, he's got a lot of pride, and he's had an MVP level season this year. You think he's just gonna just roll over and die? I don't.
Did you guys watch the game yesterday?
I like Levine. Yeah, we watched the game. We watched the game. We saw what happened for sure. And the Celtics definitely came out hard, and they kind of sucked the life out of them. But it wasn't a playoff game too. So I think you gotta take that into consideration. I know the Bulls are gonna be without Ball. They were also without Caruso, who should be in the playoffs. So it's not gonna be a cakewalk. The playoffs are rarely a cakewalk situation. And Chicago is a tough city to play in. They're a hard-nosed team. I already mentioned some of the players who play hard basketball and are very talented, all-star level players. So that's not going to be just roll the ball out there and for 4 games and 4-0 series. But
I could see a sweep. I think the Bulls are really reeling right now. And, they play isolation.
They're not on the right they're not trending right. You're right about that.
It's not Cleveland. I'll agree with Sherrod there. Who knows if Cleveland's going to get out of that play-in. But of all the teams you're more likely to see, they're probably the one you want round 1. I think that's an interesting path after that, having to go through this arena we're sitting in right now on the road against this team that just looks so complete and dominant when they want to turn it up. But who knows? Maybe catch some breaks with a Bucks-Nets series round 1, and those teams just kind of beat each other up for 7 games, and you're getting a weakened opponent at the end of it. So I feel really good about how things are lining up right now. You're probably not going to fall to 4. You're probably not in that Toronto situation at this point, which I was very keen on avoiding yesterday. So Chicago, Boston, I'd predict a sweep. I think the Bulls are just defeated from the Lonzo injury. Vucevic is dropping passes, shooting 3 of 19 in games. Zach LaVine doesn't look healthy to me. That looks like a team that's just kind of going out hurt, and it stinks because they were excellent to start this year, but that's just sort of how I look at Chicago. If you can win on Sunday and the Bucks win this out, you're in a good position seeding-wise.
Bobby, what are your thoughts, unless you just said it and I spaced out, what are your thoughts on what the Celtics should do Sunday if Toronto's in play? Are you concerned about a Toronto series?
He wasn't paying attention to what the hell you were saying, Bobby. He wasn't paying attention.
Apparently he wasn't.
I wasn't really listening to you.
Apparently he wasn't yesterday.
Were you guys?
Either.
Come on.
I'm not sure.
Come on,
I'm not
man.
sure
That's calm. That's calm one-on-one. All right, sports journalism is a one-on-one. You gotta listen. Otherwise, you're gonna ask a question that you shouldn't be asking.
I wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, we know that.
Jimmy hasn't heard. If I don't call
I've
Bobby
done that
out
a
on
couple
something, Jimmy hasn't heard a thing he said all year.
That's not true. That is not true. I'm a big Bobby guy.
Not
We
a
gotta
single
quiz Jimmy.
thing.
We gotta quiz Jimmy. Homeschool Jimmy. We gotta quiz him at the end. Comprehension.
Sorry, I wasn't
test.
taking notes, everybody. My
All
bad.
they
try to
teach
get
I had
him
my
Jimmy in
notepad
homeschool
up.
is how to read the chat on his phone.
No, I wrote in my diary last night. Bobby said a very smart thing on the show tonight. Dear diary.
Unless you didn't pay attention the whole last game, Jimmy, you know how I feel about Toronto. I'm scared of
I
them.
know, but
I am.
but
Yeah,
what about
Bobby loves Toronto.
Right, I do know that.
I have a lot of
That's why I
respect for
wanted
that. I mean,
your
look at how they
opinion.
came out and beat up Philly tonight. They just do not care who they play. They're going to throw doubles. They're going to send defenders out of nowhere. They're going to do wild stuff with that defense and muck the game up. And that's really where you see the Celtics get into trouble here against another good defense in Milwaukee late in this game. They get stagnant. And that was the problem. I don't know how much you guys talked about the game in that late fourth quarter situation. But again,
Annoying.
I know everyone's not there, but this seems to be the issue for this team. If it's tight, if it's close late, the execution really wanes. And they weren't worried about it. Listen, no Tatum, no Rob, blah, 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 blah. But it's part of a trend we've watched all year. And they haven't fully emerged out of that one defining issue. I don't know if it's defining anymore, but
It's the
it's
only
close enough
blemish.
to be.
It's the
Yes,
Achilles
that's a
heel.
fair way
It's
to
the
put
only
it.
blemish.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fourth
it is the
quarter
Achilles
late,
heel.
the ball stops moving in close games, and they just shut it down. And it's the same thing. They froze on 121. It's 121, 118, and they get outscored 9-0 over the final 230. And that's December stuff, like that's the stuff that drove you crazy. It's just they just stop. How many games did they score? 2 points over the last 6, 0 over the last 430? And that's what happened here. Of course, you're missing key players, but again, you've got the best you had out there and guys you will count on in late and critical situations. Smart, White, Jalen, and they just didn't get it done,
Yeah.
I lost Bobby.
We lost Bobby.
Oh. That's sad.
No, Jalen was to me. Jalen was the big disappointment, only because the position that Jalen was in was exactly the position that he should have been in this game, and he didn't deliver. And that's disappointing.
Yep.
That's disappointing because this could have really been a signature win. I mean, if they would have won this game, they would have to go in the top 5 wins of the season easily.
Yeah. Bobby, you might have to
yeah.
leave and come back because we couldn't hear you, bud. Yep.
Yeah, no question. If they win this game, this is the one that we look back on during the playoffs saying, look, remember that game when, trust me, these guys can get it together without Tatum, you know what I mean? Or in stretches when Tatum is not out there. And yeah, I mean, I thought obviously the triple-double, the way everything was going for Jalen, yeah, it was disappointing, especially because the Celtics had a two-possession lead and they just couldn't score for the last 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You still with us, Jimmy?
Cosign. Agree completely.
I'm gonna let Bobby back in so he can have
words right out of my mouth.
So Bobby can have his say here about what he liked about the game.
I want to ask him about.
I'm surprised he hasn't said anything about Cornette.
Tice,
because Cornette was not
great. Tice for him.
Yeah, we haven't talked Tice yet, Bobby.
Other than the bunny he missed, he had a good game.
Oh my God.
Well, okay, we can't talk about Tice without starting with that missed bunny at the rim. That kind of.
Well, but you know what that was about, though, right?
He knew somebody was behind him and
exactly
himself.
Yeah,
exactly. And that to me, again, that's where you miss a guy like Rob Williams. That's where you miss a guy like Rob, because Rob does that to at least 3 or 4 guys every single game, where they will miss a shot, not because
Rob would have just thrown that down. Tice was like, I'm just going to go ahead and block myself, so you don't have to do that.
I mean, Tice clearly saw the video of DeAndre Ayton get his stuff, pinned on the glass by Giannis and thinking, like, I'm not being posterized defensively by him. So let me just get the shot up really quick. And that's you can't do that. You can't take shortcuts.
Yeah. So
that kind of sums up the last 2 minutes. Just panic basketball.
Well, look, but that's the bad. They're not anywhere near this game if Tice didn't play the way he played, though.
I love the confidence I love the confidence that he was shooting with. I mean, we've seen so many games where he would have a lot of these same looks and he would just keep the ball moving, swing it to someone instead of just raising up when there's literally no one guarding you. That's what you're supposed to do.
I do have a concerning stat when it comes to the clutch time. Their record now, 13-22. That's 29th. Only team that's worse is Indiana.
Yeah, but the good news
That
is
is a stat and a half.
the good news is, Bobby, is playoff games aren't close, so they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to worry about there.
Since the new year,
That
I think
is
it's
tough.
still a losing record.
It's the one concern you want to see
7-8. So
why-
they've been a
Because a lot of their wins
little
have
bit
been
better.
blowouts. Yeah.
That's why you love a game like the one they had against Brooklyn at the Garden on that Sunday. You know, punch for punch, and then they execute better late. And when you get those, you remember them. Every other win you've been celebrating for the most part has been just stomping on people. So again, they've done that, and to their credit, they haven't let their foot off people's necks. You know, like those. There have been times before where they get out to big leads and then they let the team come back, and then they would get into these fourth quarter situations and they would melt down. They're not letting them back into it, but you're just not going to expect blowouts in the playoffs night after night. So you've got to play better in close games. There's no question about it.
And fair point from the chat. New Year it's 7-8, so that's better. Still not great.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, a lot of their wins haven't been in clutch. They've just been murdering teams.
Blowing
Yeah.
teams
Yeah.
out.
Able
Yeah.
to
So
improve that
good
record.
news is in terms of the seeding situation, just going back to this real quick, you know, as we said, Milwaukee, Milwaukee.
Have you figured it out, John?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what it is, but basically Milwaukee goes 2-0 and they're the 2, no matter what. But the good news is both
Milwaukee, Brooklyn.
Milwaukee
Sorry,
will have played both of their games before the Celtics play on Sunday, which means they'll know if the 2 is in play. So if they want it, they can go get it. Also, if Philly loses Saturday before their game on Sunday, and they tip off 7 o'clock on Sunday, but if they lose Saturday, the Celtics will know the 3 is already secure. So
That's a great point.
Their fate will be more clear before they tip off. They'll know if the 2 is in play or not, and they'll know whether they need to win it all to get the 3. There's a chance if Philly loses and Milwaukee has already won twice, they're the 3 no matter what, and you don't have to do a freaking thing on that game. So they will have some clarity there, and
you're playing Memphis, who's locked.
The key will start on Saturday when Philly plays Indy.
That's the first
Philly
one.
wins. That's the first domino.
And Milwaukee tomorrow. No, Milwaukee tomorrow. If Milwaukee loses tomorrow, that opens the door
I'm
already.
thinking about the 4 seed option. That's what I was thinking about.
Milwaukee loses tomorrow, that opens the door for the whatever. If they win, then they'll still play again Sunday before you play. So again, you're going to know a lot before you take the court next. With this 3-day break, because Philly's going to have another game, Milwaukee's going to have 2 games before you play. So you'll know whether you're already locked into the 3, you need to win to get the 3, or you need to win to potentially get the 2. So you're still obviously 4 is still in play here.
That's enticing. So 4 is in play. Philly needs to win out for that to happen, though, right?
Philly has to win out, and you got to lose. Yeah, but those are the scenarios now. That's kind of where they're at. But like I said, there will be some clarity, so they get an idea what they need to do if they want it when they get there on Sunday.
And on the Philly front, Thibault didn't go to Toronto, so they're dealing with the vaccination thing.
Yeah,
right?
we mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, so they'll be fighting, I'm sure, to get out of that series. It's crazy how it's lined up, and Toronto's a tough team, as they showed again tonight. It's like a battle to avoid Toronto now, I feel like, rather than Brooklyn. Bucks don't seem scared of Brooklyn, huh?
I like how he was listed on the injury report, which is not eligible to play. In Boston, we call that tendinopathy.
Yeah. No, it was personal.
Yeah.
It's personal. Get it right.
Soreness.
Not getting vaccinated, we refer to that as tendinopathy. We're wicked smart here, you know.
Tendinopathy.
We go to old hockey rules.
It's a medical
body injury. Yeah.
Oof, so many scenarios.
Yeah. No, so again, we'll know it. We got a couple of days off. We've gone about an hour. We'll wrap it up. You guys got closing thoughts here?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I'll just go quick. I said it off the top. I'm very happy with the effort tonight. Second night of it back-to-back. No Tatum, no Al, no Time Lord, obviously. Bobby, to your point, the execution down the stretch was a little troubling tonight in the clutch. But I still give him, a little bit of a tip of the cap for fighting against the Bucks. I want to see everybody out there Sunday. So that's what I'm going to say.
And Ime did indicate post-game he wants to get them a run on Sunday, so I wouldn't be surprised. He doesn't want them to go all those days without playing up until next weekend. So I think he's pointing toward that. And I agree, Jimmy. The effort was outstanding. I think everybody looked at this game and what they had and said, it's not looking great. I know Sherrod said that. They competed like crazy against a great defense, possession for possession, excellent passing. Another game where they were pretty much assists for basket, which is a trend since Rob went down. Like they're continuing to just pile up the assists here. Excellent ball movement. Jalen at the point of attack early set a great tone in that regard. And Smart, one of his better games all year, and he's had a ton of them. So everybody's playing well. Smart said he feels as good going into a postseason as he has in his career physically. They're healthy outside of Rob. Things are lining up well. And I just think back to our show yesterday, this team is in a higher level of play than we expected them to be without Rob.
My final thought is real quick. Everyone's mad we're not talking about Smart, so someone talk about Smart.
He gets the brownie. He gets the brownie. That's the
brownie.
We didn't say his name until right now.
He gets the brownie.
He was
so
phenomenal.
solid.
He was so solid. That's why.
He was. It just got lost in the end of the game. He was great. Tice was great. They were all. He was great. I mean,
he played the way you have to play when two of your top three players are down.
Yeah.
Someone's got to step up. Someone's got to make shots.
Marcus loves these games.
Well, you know the thing that he does is when he finds a spot that's just a good flow rhythm spot, he's trying to jack shots from that spot all night. And it was top of the key. For whatever reason, Bobby Portis gave him just enough space where he could launch that shot, and he was killing it. That was his shot. Mm-hmm. So love what I saw from Marcus Smart, but I don't want to see that when you got the whole team together.
Well, that's
by the way, the block on
great tonight. It was a great show tonight. Great show tonight.
He did it against Toronto as well. The guys are out, and Marcus is like, he goes to Ime. He's like, so I get to shoot 30 times, right? And Ime's like, yeah, I guess so.
Well, see, that's what I was gonna say. If without looking at the box score, I would have guessed he chucked up 20. But what do you do? What was this? 10 of 16. That's not bad.
This was efficient. He shot 26.
That's
efficient. He shot 26 times against Toronto. Okay, so this was. But you had Jalen tonight.
Dude.
By the way,
the dude hit 7 threes. I mean,
I know
exactly, and still had 7 assists. Still had 7 assists.
He kept attacking the rim. It wasn't like he was just seeking out threes. Yeah, this is good, Marcus.
And the block on Giannis, when he blocked Giannis's foot back, that's when I said, all right.
I talked about that. I want credit.
All doubts out about the defensive player of the year.
And he had another block too that they called a foul. I thought it was a clean block. He had another one too.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, we were looking at that as an outside chance, and he's such a prohibitive favorite. It's so hard to believe. We were talking about him declining last year, and he's defensive player of the year.
No, not just last year. He was declining in the first 30, 40 games of this year. He was playing worse than he had played the year before.
I mean, on the defensive end.
No, for sure. But offensively, he had dipped badly, across the board. He was just bad. But you're right. The defense last year, we pinned that a little on injuries. He had that calf thing up and down, a little bit as well.
But that just, I don't want to say it changes his career, but it's a feather in the cap. You join the Mutombos and the, Rodman types and those guys, Draymond Green, Rudy, like the great defenders all the time. You're in that club. And that brings him from being a guy who, all right, really good defender, one of the best defenders in the league. Now you're talking about one of the best defenders of all time. I mean, what a credit to his career.
Come on.
You don't think he enters that club with a defensive player of the year?
No.
See what happens when you bring up Marcus?
No.
See what happens when you bring up Marcus?
He's had a great year. And
why can't we do this without hyperbole?
When you win a defensive player of the year, that's like an MVP.
It means you had a great year.
Because Bobby's been here for 7 minutes. That's why, John. All right, he just got in.
It means you had a great year, and he's had a great year. And Marcus deserves to be defensive player of the year. We at Bleach Report, we all had to vote for.
I'm on it.
He better.
I agree.
And he was
my guy. I absolutely believe he deserves it. But you're saying that? Am I ready to put him on the same pedestal as like a Gary Payton, as like a Ben Wallace, as like
you have
all
to.
These guys that have won?
Bobby, you don't have to. Draymond Green.
You literally do not have to.
Bobby, if Draymond Green doesn't get hurt, he wins it unanimously this year, okay? So he's winning it in a year where the four best bigs cancel each other out. Yeah.
This is the year where he should get it. I will not. I will not argue
All the
anything
stars
other
are
than
aligned for him
he
to get it this year.
He absolutely deserves to get it this year.
I'm with you too, but I don't think it makes him the best defender of all time.
No, he's among the greats. Lonzo Mourning, Mutombo, Payton,
Mutombo?
I mean,
those names. Those are names.
Look,
all I'm saying is you're going to look at the list. You're going to look at the list, and Marcus Smart's name is going to be on it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, his name is going to be on that list once. Those guys have been on that list multiple times. That's the difference. They're greats because they did it over and over and over again. They were the best defensive player in the league repeatedly. Marcus, I think, is the best defensive player this year. If he has another year like this next year, and then another one after that, then we got a conversation. Then I will be.
We would have never even comprehended him winning one. I mean, Bobby, you get to that.
Instead of us celebrating Marcus Smart's unbelievable defensive season,
because he's having a great year.
You are making us criticize the fact that he's not an all-time. Can't we just talk about how great of a year he's had?
Bobby,
you
shut the fuck
flipped
up
the
again,
convo.
right?
Now we're all shitting on Marcus Smart. Congratulations.
Yeah, he's gonna tell us to shut the fuck up again. Stop it. Remember I caught up with Marcus in LA, man. Things are cool now. So
Sherrod and I are both clearly endorsing Marcus for Defensive Player of the Year, and I have been forever. I hate when bigs win it. I always think you should give it to perimeter players. I thought Simmons should have won it last year. I would vote Marcus this year if I had a vote. But again, as Jimmy said, we're forced to have this conversation now.
Yeah. Well, look,
I mean, why not?
If Marcus stacks up a few of these at least, yeah, you can start having a conversation.
Why does he need a few?
As soon as you get one,
because that's what the great ones do. That's what the great ones do. That's just like
he's been in the discussion for a few years.
It's so funny. I got people in the chat saying the Smart hate is out of control. Every one of us loves Marcus Smart right now.
Yeah. No, if he doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, it's robbery.
Let me ask you a question. Bobby, let me ask you a question. In all seriousness,
we all agree with Steve.
And he's not going to win it, and it's not robbery. He's probably not going to win it, but that's fine.
Smart?
What? No, he's going to win it this year.
He's going to win it.
You don't think so, John?
I think he's going to. Yeah, I think he's going to win it this year.
Yeah, he's a favorite right now.
Well, go ahead, Sherrod. You're gonna say.
Well,
he's up there.
I think he should. I don't think he will.
He's a great player. Can we all agree that Bill Russell is a great player? Can we agree?
Yes.
Is Steve Nash in the same category as Bill? Is Steve Nash in the same category as Bill Russell? Even
John,
though he's
you answer that.
No.
Based off what?
I
MVP awards.
get what you said.
I mean, that's even more of it.
You wouldn't say Steve Nash is one of the all-time greats because he's won a couple of MVP awards. When you compare him, you say he's right.
But it's
with
true.
The Bill Russell,
it's the same
the
outcome.
Chamberlains.
He's one of the greats. Steve Nash is one of the greats.
We'll get Gelso on here for Bill Russell talk. All right.
I mean, you consider Smart, the era, the way in which he plays, the versatility, and just his role within, I heard Zach Lowe say it, a historic defense here. That's a historic tip of the cap, feather in your ear, whatever you want to call it. Like, he is joining the greats here on this end of the ball. I mean, why does Smart make the big bucks? He's one of the best defenders in the league, and now he's joining a club of the Rudys, the Greens, the Kawhis, the people from this era who established themselves as the great defenders.
Every single one of those people you named, Bobby, has won multiple awards. That's what I don't understand. Why is that? Why? Everyone you're naming has done this repeatedly. And that's no knock against Marcus because I think he has been shafted for a lot of years. I think he should have been in the conversation.
Yeah, like Bobby,
that's the other factor, the guard.
But the reality is they've won that award.
Yeah, he's in a class with guys who are contemporaries now, like Jrue Holiday, Matthias Thybulle. All of these guys are really good defenders.
He's in a Thybulle class?
Of course he is.
Now we're starting to disrespect Smart.
He's better than Matisse. He's better.
He's better. He's made a few teams. He made a few.
Who made? Wait, which one of those? Let me ask you, Bobby. Bobby, Marcus is much better than Thybulle. Which of those two made a all defensive team last year?
Doc just said he can't play Thybulle because he can't play offense.
Which of those two made all defensive last year? I forget.
He missed a year, John.
Give me a break.
But he was making teams before that.
I understand that.
But you did, Bobby.
This is the point I'm trying to make. He has risen above these guys. He has risen above the contemporaries here to the greats
You
of this
think
era.
you think
and the
he's
greats of
on
all
a
time.
different level than Jrue Holiday?
He is risen.
Drew should be in that conversation.
Easter's coming up.
I understand what I'm saying is, Bobby, there's a handful of these guys. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15 of these guys. They're all in the same kind of class. Marcus is one of them. He's one of the 5, 6, 7, 8 best.
See, that's where I disagree.
Non-big guy defenders of his era. There's a lot of them. Yeah, and like I said, Draymond, Jrue, Kawhi Leonard, there's a lot of guys there. It's not a disservice to Marcus to say that. There's just no reason to put him among the all-time greats because in a year where the defensive player of the year got hurt 50 games into the season and Marcus might sneak in and win it, that title puts him immediately
That's
in
such
the
a
class. It
misrepresentation.
doesn't.
Smart keyed, and listen, I'm a Rob guy, but Rob got hurt. Smart keyed
I
along.
got hurt a week ago.
One of the great defenders. Well, I would have been pushing for Rob if he didn't get hurt. But now Smart, he's got the runway here.
Rob
But that
just got
doesn't
hurt, and now
but-
Smart's the
but
greatest
Bob-
defender
And I'm
of all
pushing
time.
for
Bobby,
Smart
that
for
doesn't
this year.
happen.
I
That
am.
doesn't happen when you're talking about an all-time great. It doesn't matter who the hell gets hurt around him. They're one of the all-time greats. That's who you rock with. And,
Well, you
and
could
you just said right there that if Rob didn't get hurt, that's who you'd be pushing for. And I'm saying to you, Marcus is one of the best defenders of this era. I absolutely agree with that. But when you're talking about the lineage of great defenders who played in the NBA, his body of work just isn't at that level. And that's no knock against him.
It's
He's
not.
still a great
That's why. Why
defender.
are you
He's
making us do this, Bobby?
It's too late.
I think if
Too
you
late.
put all the
What's
context
done is
into play
done.
here, he
We
is
get a
at that
wrap.
level.
We get a wrap.
All right, we'll see what the chat thinks.
That was a heck of a final thought.
Yeah, when all
Heck
else
of a
fails,
final
go to the
thought.
chat and see what they think.
Bobby.
Listen, you look at the context of his career, making up for the Isaiahs of the world, the Kyries of the world, there's a lot of stuff he's had to do that has hit his own statistics, his own reputation on that end, even the amount of all defensive teams he could make because the Celtics weren't the best defenses in the league. Now you build a defense around him and you put up a historic season on that end. That's when you put yourself up in that echelon to me. And you look at the list of names.
Bobby, I go back to your own words when you said that you would be pushing for Rob instead of Marcus. That doesn't happen when you're talking about an all-time great. You can't detach yourself from, well, Marcus is one of the all-time greats, but I would have been pulling for Rob for this.
Right.
That doesn't make sense, Bobby.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
You guys wanted us.
Rob,
It was
Rob
always
should
a
make the
tough
second
call.
team.
Congratulations,
Rob
you
should make the
played
second
yourself.
team.
You wanted us to talk about Marcus, you bastards.
Yeah,
It was-
I blame
I blame
that one
the chat.
commenter.
It's your fault. Your fault. He's
Yeah.
the one eating popcorn right now. The guy who made that comment.
The one thing that we're all in
Yeah,
agreement on
he's
is
eating it
that
up.
Marcus is an exceptional defender. He's one of the best defenders in the game right now. I don't think that's even questionable. But the issue Bobby raised was as if he's one of the all-time greats, and I just don't think Marcus's body of work is at that point. And Bobby, again, I'm literally using your own description of you would be pulling for Rob, which I can tell you right now, if he's one of the all-time greats, that's not going to happen. And all those years that Gary Payton was in Seattle, no one was ever going to be pulling for Sean Kemp or someone else to be the best defender, even if they had a great year, because Gary Payton was one of the all-time greats. That's what happens. That's how that works.
It was a tough call.
Other folk-
It was a tough call. I went back and forth a bunch of times, but the reason I leaned Rob was because he took it to the next level. But you even hear what Rob's saying, the communication, all the core principles of the defense.
Both Sherrod and I
switching.
I hope he makes
Sherrod
all
and
second
I
team. I hope he makes all
vote
second
for
team.
Marcus Smart for Defensive Player of the Year, and I'm confident in it. I absolutely give the vote. We got to stop pretending that we're both
Sure, I
not
will too.
that we both don't think he's worthy of Defensive Player of the Year. We're literally
I've literally put it in print that he's the guy that I picked. You can go to Bleacher Report right now and see our Defensive Player of the Year votes, and you'll see that Marcus Smart is the guy that should rock it.
Yeah. We're literally talking about whether
Good choice, Rob.
winning this award immediately catapults him into the greatest defender of all time conversation, which I think
Puts him on the
is a
list.
little early.
It puts him on the list.
It puts him in a list of winners. Bobby, when you
Yes.
started going
It's
through
a
the
very
guys that you
short
consider
list.
great defenders,
It's not a
I
short
don't-
list.
I don't-
There's a
not
lot
really.
of really good defenders over the course of time.
No, I'm saying of people who have won the award.
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Good night, all. I'll tell
See you
you
guys
this.
Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday, the last regular season post game show. Be there.
Oh man, let's go.
John, we have to go back to our bold predictions on Sunday.
Oh shoot!
So stick around for that, everybody.
Right.
Bold
I don't think
predictions.
those are that interesting.
Our bold predictions are coming back on Sunday to see how.
Bobby. Oh, Bobby doesn't think they're so interesting. Okay, Bobby.
Weird.
If you nail a couple of those, you'd be like, let's do it, guys. Yeah, we're doing that next episode.
I know somebody in this show is going to be happy to rehash a couple of them. So.
Yeah, a few of them were really good.
No spoilers. All
right. Stay tuned.
All right.
Anyone else want a final thought?
Talk about Hauser.
Oh, we didn't talk about Hauser.
I was trying to ask you about him,
then
you went down this.
I was joking. Marcus. I don't want to talk about Hauser.
My final thought: I think we should break up the Jays. All right, good night, guys.
We are snubbing Hauser right now. Just to let the people
it's your fault. It's your fault. So congratulations.
Thank you for watching, guys. If you want to head over to the chat on Discord, check it out. We're hanging out over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna check in with those guys.
Hauser
Talk.
Talk.
What time is it?
We'll move to Discord. How about that?
Huh?
You can go to Discord.
Yeah.
And talk.
Hauser Talk on Discord.
Yes.
Join our Discord server. It's on the screen there. clnsmedia.com/Discord. Should we trade Jaylen Brown? That's what we'll be talking about. Okay.
Yeah, don't say that. That's not true.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that.
There we are. But you have to sign up to be a part of the convo.
You got to sign up.
Jeez Louise.
I hate you. I hate all of you.
Yeah.
We hate all of you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the chat. Very fun, very spirited. We love it. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys on Sunday. Take care.
Sunday.